Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today we've got quite a lot to talk about. We're going to dive straight in because this is some pretty serious and important stuff. As much as I don't like to impede on people's free will here on YouTube, I would ask that you please consider at least hearing me out through this first part I'm going to cover because it is an important thing to understand. So I don't want to linger on it too long because it's not the larger purpose of the video. However, we can't really address the Division Heartland right now without talking about what just happened at the beginning of this week. Some of you may know that over this past weekend, several pieces of info and leaked material were released online relating to Heartland and specifically it showing up on console stores. And that all culminated early Monday morning when a piece of very official looking art for the game was leaked. Now let me be fully clear from the start. I understood fully well that this was leaked material. Ubisoft were not the ones to be sharing this around online. However, and this is very important, if you recall back to May, there was a major leak of the Division Heartland's big closed test. Game details were shared around online everywhere. Actual footage of this early test was posted to the internet. It was a mess. Now, I chose not to cover any of that stuff back then because A, I really did feel bad for Redstorm. This leak was no one's fault except those in the community who partook in the test, and Redstorm had very respectfully asked that people keep this stuff private so that they could eventually have the grand reveal of their baby as they desired. So because of the circumstance, that alone would have probably been enough for me not to cover it. But additionally, like I said, this is a major leak. A leak containing information that absolutely fell under the umbrella of fair ground for Ubisoft to take action against those spreading it. So even without sharing the leaked footage, I wondered if people making videos about this stuff would be struck down. And kinda to my surprise, they did not. From what I saw and heard, no action was ever taken on any of the main channels who spoke of the leaks. Obviously, none of them even, shared the footage. But what surprised me the most is that up until just a few weeks ago, there was still an easily accessible video of the Heartland closed test up on YouTube. A good 25 minutes of it. That was up for 6 months, and Ubisoft did nothing. In fact, it's still up on other sites. I've been shown as recently as this week. Okay, so with all that in mind, my conclusion was that they must not give a shit about protecting the secrecy of Heartland. Cool. Come this past Monday, we get the leaked artwork. Now, like I said earlier, I fully understood, and still do now, that that was leaked material. I chose to showcase it on my channel, and I take full responsibility in doing so. And unlike that previous leak, where it was player-caused and a breach of NDA, this image and other associated material was publicly released on the Xbox and PlayStation stores before it was taken down. So in my opinion, this moves much beyond the personal and grows into a much more macro kind of newsworthy story. Right, so this thing drops, and by the time I wake up in the morning and see it, it's been a good number of hours since people have begun sharing it around. I think Epic already had a video up on it by the time I even saw it. So already by that point, I figured Ubisoft must not care. Right, if they did, they would have struck this stuff down immediately. The thought even barely crossed my mind because one artwork photo was nothing compared to the scale and magnitude of that leak back in May, including actual gameplay footage that stayed up on YouTube for 6 months. So I'd already planned to do a video that day on the other Heartland console news of the weekend, and so I sat down, made my video, and included this new artwork piece that had dropped. And because of how gorgeous it was, frankly, I used the photo in the thumbnail. Again, fully aware it was leaked material, I will forever own up to that. But also, again, never in a million years could I have guessed that Ubi would care given the Heartland leak track record. So I dropped the video, everyone loves it, people are digging the artwork, which absolutely, 100% is stunning. People are excited about the new developments. There's actually some real hype and excitement brewing for Heartland, which honestly, I hadn't seen, something like that since May, given the silence surrounding it. So I go to bed that night satisfied. It was a really swell day in the Division community. Unfortunately, that's where the fun ended. I woke up the next morning, checked my phone, notification from like 1:33 a.m. Hi, RogueGold, we're sending you this to let you know that your latest video has been flagged for copyright by Ubisoft. And I'm like, shit. Again, it was no one's fault other than my own that picture was in my video. It was leaked material. I take full responsibility. Never in a million years could have guessed they would have cared about it given the other stuff, but oh well. It was my mistake to use it. It wasn't until I logged into YouTube, however, that I saw the full extent of what had really happened. Ubisoft didn't just submit a copyright claim, which would demonetize it. They didn't just take it down under DMCA. They wiped the video from existence and they slapped me with a copyright strike, which to my knowledge is like the worst offense you can receive in the copyright realm on YouTube. Because if you don't know, racking up 3 strikes on your channel results in it being terminated permanently. So that was a surprise. Now don't worry guys, the strike does go away after like 3 months so long as I don't receive another one, which I fully intend on not doing, so there's no cause for long-term concern. But it is pretty strong messaging to be dealing out copyright strikes for one photo. But again, I was like, hey, it's my fault, I'll own up to that, even though it's kind of weird. Now at that point, I was like, man, all the YouTubers are going to be pissed. This week is just going to be full of reaction videos and whatnot. So I began searching around on Twitter and YouTube, and pretty quickly realized that hardly anyone else I knew personally had been affected. Now, that's not to say that no one else was taken down. Notably, the initial source of this leaked image on Twitter, their post was removed. I saw some other stuff on Twitter got taken down as well, and I've heard that other YouTubers' videos got taken down and assumedly handed copyright strikes, but I personally have still not heard or seen that from anyone that I follow. Maybe it's just people I don't know, people I don't follow. If you do know of other YouTubers specifically who were affected, I would really appreciate you letting me know who down below. But overall, the image was still everywhere, and it even is right now as you're listening to this, on several people's Twitter feeds that I follow, on several people's YouTube videos. Now, I want to mention 2 people specifically. Just know that I'm not calling them out in any sort of way. All of us made videos that included the image. We're all in the same boat. I just seem to be the one who took the hit. So Epic Slayers and Nothing But Skills, who for the record both have way bigger channels than mine, both made similar videos covering the recent Heartland news and the photo. Now, Epic let me know that he personally took down his own video in order to just not take the risk of receiving a strike once he saw what was happening to everybody else. But I'll tell you right now that I think he would have been absolutely fine, because part of the reason I waited a few days to make this video is I wanted to see if anything would happen, and I'm surprised but unfortunately not surprised to see that no action has been taken on Skills' video, which again, nothing but love to him. He made a great video, but I don't recall any way in which my video might have been revealing, more about the game or the leaks than his was, or said anything more sensitive. We both used the leak image in our thumbnails and showed it off during the video, and it seems as though there has been some very odd selectivity here as to who Ubisoft chose to take action against, because like I said, we put out the same content. Once again, I will say I take full responsibility for the punishment I received for including leaked material. It does seem odd that they cared about one piece of artwork, whereas they left highly secretive gameplay up on YouTube for 6 months, but oh well. It does just leave me a bit frustrated to see that from my perspective, it seems as though these punishments were targeted at either the smaller creators or entirely randomly. I have no idea. I don't really know what Ubisoft's goal was with these copyright takedowns if they didn't intend on getting everyone. Like, all this has really resulted in is confirmation that the artwork was legit by Ubisoft claiming this as copyright, and you've soured the opinions of several fans and creators who have just been trying to keep the hype and excitement going over the past 6 months, whereas Ubisoft themselves have done nothing to attempt that, given all the silence. So, all that said, I'm just excited as ever for The Division Heartland. I brought this whole fiasco upon myself. It has solidified certain beliefs, though, that I'd already held about UB Corporate, especially considering that Terry Spear himself was liking and commenting on fan additions to the artwork after this wave of takedowns was sent out. But yeah, at the end of the day, lesson learned. I know to be more careful with this stuff moving forward, and I am just going to move on from this. No hard feelings to any party involved. So yeah, guys, sorry that took so long. I just wanted to set the record straight if there was any confusion. That is why you can no longer find my Heartland video from Monday here on the channel. If you would like to see the leaked artwork for yourself and hear about the other new details on the game that were released, I would recommend checking out Nothing But Skills' video from it on Monday. He does a great job covering it all. Thanks for sticking through that, everybody. I hope you understand my desire to explain it. Moving on to the other big topic for this video, however, that being what all of this copyright takedown stuff indicates for The Division Heartland moving forward. Keeping it simple, something big is coming. If Ubisoft cares enough about this photo to make at least some effort to control its spread, if they finally woken up and removed the gameplay video from YouTube after 6 months, if the game is making its way onto the console marketplaces with a full description of the game, we're no longer talking, mid-development. Now, I don't know how this plays into the recent news of a delay in the investors' call to fiscal 2022. I also don't know what to make of the supposed February 23rd date that accompanied the listing on the console stores, but it's clear to me that Ubisoft is now positioning themselves to take control of the public Heartland image, and I do truly believe that we are set to get an official reveal soon. Where that may be, who knows? Maybe in a live stream, a standalone event. Hell, it could be at the Game Awards like I theorized a while back. I think that'd be pretty sweet. But I think we're set to get a reveal quite soon, which will come with that artwork, obviously, and preliminary details about the game, some gameplay, all of that, similar to Division's past reveals. As for what happens from there or after that, like I said, I don't really know. I don't not believe the investors' call, which indicated a fiscal 2022 delay, but all of this new info is pretty contradictory to that. Something I said in my video on Monday was, unlike what a lot of others think, I don't think Ubisoft is really afraid to release The Division 2's new content and some form of Heartland, whether it be a beta, an early access period, whatever. I don't think they're afraid to release those things close together, and even in the same month. I heard it in someone else's video, maybe it was Epic, but they said that people have suggested that the two projects would compete with one another if released, but rather they would most likely work in tandem and have a really effective synergy between them, and I totally agree with what he or whoever else, I apologize, said. Heartland, while obviously drawing from the same larger Division audience, seems to also be targeting a very different market than a Division 2 update is, for example. Obviously, there's going to be overlap between the two, but there's also going to be plenty of people who check one out, let's say Heartland because it's a new game, and be like, oh, there's a Division 2 game that's still receiving updates, and they just got a new big one? Let me go check it out. Or someone checks out Div 2's new update and sees, oh, what the heck, there's a new free-to-play spin-off that's been released, gotta go check that out. And so instead of them hurting each other, I think a tight-knit release between these two projects could actually be quite beneficial for the franchise as a whole. Division has been absent from the market and the public eye for 14 months, it'll have been by the time we get to February. We've talked about how Division 2 has a lot of competition to deal with in February, and we've also talked about how it's likely that Heartland will face some struggle drawing in a non-Division audience. But maybe the things that these games both need is each other. Maybe a release of Div 2's update in early to mid-February and then Heartland early access launch like a week or two later is the exact thing that the Division universe needs to weather the gaming storm of 2022 and effectively place the Division back on the market with at least somewhat of a strong spotlight on it. It could be a risk, but I think it's absolutely one that Ubisoft should go for because it could pay off big time. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video and be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you can be updated every time I upload. Let me know your thoughts on the Heartland drama and news of the week. Do you see Ubisoft's copyright actions as a precursor to some sort of official reveal? Do you think there's actually a chance that the leaked February date could come true for the game? And what might that mean for Division 2's update that's already scheduled for February? Let me know all that down below. Moving forward, guys, you can expect another video here quite soon, and then there's probably going to be a few streams until the Division 2 news next week. That's the current plan, because if you've forgotten, we are set to get the second installation of the Intelligence Annex series for the Division 2's new update. So yeah, it's going to be a good time. That's all I've got for today, though, everybody. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and until the next one, guys, RogueGold out.